Remember how I said that after Jack Smith be gone, that they're going to go through all the emails and find all of his communications? Well, they went through some of his emails and found his communications. Chuck Grassley just revealed the bombshell that we're going to present to you today. It's going to be a lot of reading, but this is dead on accurate, no spin stuff, really cool, kind of inside how Chuck Grassley and how those offices and investigations work. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. Let's get started. This is Chuck Grassley for Senate, his governor, government.gov site. Chuck Grassley, Johnson, make public whistleblower records revealing Department of Justice and FBI plot to pin Trump in the Jack Smith elector case. We got him. The FBI's investigation into Trump, dubbed, quote, Arctic Frost, unquote, was spearheaded by a known anti-Trump agent in the FBI. This is great whistleblower stuff revealing how terrible, politicized, illegal Christopher Wray ran his thing, why all Democrats that question Kash Patel are complete frauds because they sat there on this stuff and had nothing to say. Here we are in Washington. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican, Iowa, and Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations Chairman Ron Johnson, Republican, Wisconsin, are releasing legally protected whistleblower disclosures that prove the genesis of the federal election interference case brought against President Trump began at the hands of a prolific anti-Trump FBI agent who acted outside of established protocol for opening cases. So this, if you will, is evidence of a politicized government. Internal FBI emails and predicating documents provided to Grassley and released jointly by the two senators show Timothy, Thibault, I'm going to call him Thibault or Thibault, a former FBI assistant special agent in charge, ASAC, who was forced to retire from the Bureau after Grassley exposed his public anti-Trump bias, authored the initial language for what ultimately became Jack Smith's federal case against Trump regarding the 2020 presidential election. So this is where Jack Smith got the dirt from. It's invented dirt by this FBI goon. And then Jack Smith bases his entire investigation on it. Records show Thibault essentially opened and approved his own investigation. Anti-Trumper in the FBI. That's your state. That's your tax dollars hard at work. The FBI titled the ensuing investigation Arctic Frost. Yes, they could have been at work in the field busting bad guys, but instead they invented a witch hunt against Trump. Records further reveal Richard Pilger, an official in the Justice Department, DOJ's Public Integrity Section, reviewed and improved the FBI's Arctic Frost investigation. Thank you, Public Integrity Section. Literally, it was done privately. It has no integrity. Man, the names of these things. Authorizing DOJ to move forward with a full field criminal and grand jury investigation that ultimately transformed into the Trump elector case. Grassley published a 2021 report that raised concerns regarding Pilger's troubling record at DOJ because he's a political hack. So Grassley tried to warn everyone. Merrick Garland covered up for this. Jack Smith covered up for this. Grassley in 2022 additionally questioned Thibault's role at the FBI, writing, quote, I remain very concerned that political bias by a select group of Justice Department and FBI officials has infected the Justice Department's and FBI's usual process and procedure to open and pursue high-profile and politically charged investigations, unquote. Grassley and Johnson in November called on Jack Smith to preserve all records related to Trump-targeted investigations. So now we have the records released by Grassley and Johnson linked below. Let's click on one of these and take a look at what we find. Okay, so this is what one of them looks like. This looks like a message in HTML. This is some kind of a private site where they pass messages around. Here's Timothy Thibault, FBI. There we go. Okay, it says Michelle. Here's a draft, opening language we discussed. If you decide to work the case, please reach out to Jonathan Crabb. If you require additional info, you can begin adding to the draft as needed. Would consider this a SIM. I don't know what SIM stands for. Seek CDC guidance to determine if 1096N AG, Attorney General Barr memo applies. We'll need to discuss title, subject. I think a minimum would have the Trump campaign and the UNSUBs in the title. This black stuff's all redacted. Synopsis, this full investigation is predicated on information subjects conspired to provide knowingly false statements to the United States government for the purpose of corrupting the 2020 U.S. presidential election. So that's the synopsis that they're trying to move forward with. Oh boy, yeah, what a mess. Okay, anyways, all these emails are going to be very similar to this. I'll look at another one just so we can get a glimpse of it, okay? Here's Exhibit 2. This is the chain of command, step by step, how they put this whole thing together. I will stick with these emails so long as they're informative. Here's again, Timothy Thibault. This is more of the emails that are not, hold on to all their records, don't delete these. So they were not deleted, and Grassley's giving them to us. John, after reviewing the draft, opening a potential case of defraud obstruction, I had a discussion with the case team, and we believe there to be predication to include former President of the United States, Donald Trump, as a predicated subject, along with the electors, the campaign, key campaign actors, and yet to be unidentified subjects, as your office seeking Attorney General approval for the FBI to open this case. We, of course, owe it to the Department of Justice, EM, to provide and clarify to the FBI's titled subjects to avoid confusion, surprise, etc. As such, I've requested the case team send me a list of the predicated subjects today so I may pass them on to you. You may expect this list by the end of day. One caveat, as you are aware, there are 64 electors that would be initially titled as subjects in the case, so they're going to run into trouble. This is back in 2022. Next exhibit. Building this case. Here's John Crabb. Tim, can you send me the Barr memo, which they called out earlier? But there's lots of good stuff. This is all publicly available. You guys can go through it yourself. Here's another one from Timothy Thibault. A lot of redactions here. Attached is the list of electors in addition. We are also listing Donald J. Trump, President Incorporated, John Eastman, there's our man, Boris Epstein, and Rudy Giuliani in the case. Thank you. Okay. Exhibit 5 from Timothy Thibault. Sir, please find a copy of the Arctic Frost opening EC for review or approval. This version has the concurrence of FBI headquarters, PCCRS attachment are available on red. Please let me know if you have any questions. Here's the FBI. This is request opening of a new investigation called Arctic Frost. This is in March of 2022. Arctic Frost synopsis. This communication requests opening of a new 56D full investigative matter predicated on information subjects corruptly conspired to obstruct the United States Congress certification of the 2020 presidential election results by submitting fraudulent certificates of electors' votes to the United States government, which was John Eastman's idea. Here's the presidential electors, which they're calling out in this thing, for Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, obtained from the National Archive, they're involved, and Records Administration. List of fraudulent electors. Let's see. Some of this appeared in Jack Smith's first document. I'm going to skip past this. I'm going to continue to the next one. Let's see, what are we on? I'll go down to Exhibit 6, see how this is developing. Timothy Thibault. Assistant Special Agent in charge. Here, I don't recognize some of these names. Daniel Mehokto, Arctic Frost. Done. Tim, over to you. I'll let the boss know it's on the way. Who's the boss? Thanks, Allison. Exhibit 7. This is the building of a fake case, guys. There's nothing here. This is Allison Lauder. DD just signed. Department of Defense? I don't know. Case is open. Whose initials are DD? Okay, that's the only one in that one. Let's look at 8. Timothy Tybalt. There we go again. Special agent in charge, field office, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Thanks a lot. Let's talk next week. That's all that's in that one. And then exhibit 9. This is from Timothy Tybalt to Roland, from Roland Farnsworth to Timothy Tybalt regarding Arctic frost. Tim, hope you're well. PCU is going to send over the draft. EC with some edits made by OGC. Coyle spoke with your 55A, and she's aware. Give me a call if you have any questions. Also, if you have time on Monday, I'll hit you up on Red Skype. So you heard them reference to Red before, and Red Skype must be their private video conferencing Skype channel. I'll hit you up on Red Skype reference, a possible new case. Thanks, Tim. Have a good weekend. And that is the launch of the case using these 9 exhibits. Grassley provided an overview of the records in his opening statement during the Senate Judiciary's hearing on Kash Patel's nomination to be FBI director. Excerpts from Grassley's opening statement follows. In my hand are a series of FBI emails. So he referenced these yesterday in cross-examining Kash Patel. The first is an email that Tybalt sent to a subordinate agent on February of 2022. He said, here's a draft opening language we discussed. The draft opening was attached, and it was included material that would later become part of Jack Smith's elector case. The second email is February from 22. Email from Tybalt to John Crabb, a prosecutor of the U.S. Attorney's Office for District of Columbia, saying, I had a discussion with the case team, and we believe there to be predication to include former President of the United States Donald Trump as a predicated subject. The FBI case would later be codenamed Arctic Frost. Third email from Tybalt to John Crabb, noting the Attorney General and FBI Director approval will be sought to open the case. So FBI Director is Christopher Wray, Attorney General Merrick Garland. They got their approval. I'm going to skip down because we already read all these emails together. Between March 22nd and April 13th, other versions of the document opening the investigation existed because a 9th email shows that the FBI General Counsel's Office made edits on March 25th. Ooh, what did they hide? Quote, was Trump still removed as an investigative subject? If so, which Justice Department and FBI officials other than Jack Smith later added him in for prosecution? Quote, I expect the production of all records on this matter to better understand the full fact pattern, whether other records exist. So Chuck Grassley is not just going for these emails, but the ones they edited and corrected. And I think they've got a lot more digging to do going through Jack Smith's documents. Like I've said before, I believe there's email correspondence between he and probably the vice president and perhaps Fondy Willis, perhaps Nathan Wade, perhaps even the White House. And just because someone is pardoned, remember, Biden's not pardoned, so they can go into all of his correspondence if there is such a thing, and anyone else unnamed who might have been doing Biden's emails for him, which could be someone like Karine Jean-Pierre, Jill Biden, one of his other people in his administration that did not get a pardon. And then this case is full steam ahead. The investigation is. But first, we got to get Kash Patel appointed before we can touch, and Pam Bondi going through appointed and clean. And then we can go back into all this stuff with subpoenas. And if they lie, they get canned. If they withhold evidence, they get canned. And there might even be a chance that we could send in Kash Patel's FBI to go in and just grab the computers and servers and pull out all the emails by force. That's the good news. We got Jack Smith, guys, on this one. Thank you, Chuck Grassley, for releasing this information from the public. Again, 9 exhibits proving that this subordinate created the FBI. He was an anti-Trump hack, working in the FBI, being a political weaponization of the government, that everything that Christopher Wray said about them was wrong, was a lie, claiming that it wasn't politicized. Now you see how all this stuff started with one little goon, and you heard about it first right here on the Doug TenNapel channel. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, watch another video.